just create, well, what you're hearing, and I struggled to get what I was wanting. And I think I've mostly figured it out. I haven't been able to recreate exactly what I was originally intending to, but I feel like I've definitely gotten a lot closer than I was. And what I was trying to recreate was from, you'll see it on the little screen up here. His YouTube is Worship Guitar Skills. And I just think he has a fantastic ambient that's coming out of his Kemper. I don't know if you'll be able to hear this or not. You know, if you do, great. But just a cool sound. And so I kind of have to give him credit because this is also like, you know, this is his thing. Like the thing I was playing is what he teaches Triads there. So I just wanted to talk a little bit about what's going on and how I was able to get a better sound out of that. So I'm going to maximize this window here because I'm actually show you my my rig here. And hopefully it's not too small for you. I will talk through it. And, you know, if you're watching the video and you're like, yeah, I couldn't make sense of that, comment, let me know, because I can totally make another one and go a little bit more in depth. So what I've got going on here, I put an auto swell first, and that just gives it a little bit more of a, you know, there's no like solid attack. I like it without it too. And I just now realized I actually had my my octaves up and down off, so it was not even at full power when I played it before. But you know the attack, even with that auto swell off, is still pretty gentle, and it's gentle like that because I think mostly I've got the mix on the reverb, or excuse me, on the various delays pretty high, and so all that's doing is it's preventing it from being able to you know, hit the attack real hard. Now I struggled with that a whole lot at first because I was getting like I'd get the attack and then it wouldn't sustain at the volume that I attacked at. So like if I was to go from like, I would get a lot of drop off, and so there would be like kind of a distraction between the two triads. So what I did to combat that was a couple things. Number one was getting like, let's see if I can make this a little bit more full here. Yeah, there we go. I used the various delays and made sure, where is my, yeah, so my mix. So like the mix I set to, like on this one, 33%. I noticed if I started getting up around 50%, I would either get too much like actual delay, which I didn't want. I want it to be more of like a smooth ambient sound. So I'd set the mix, like on this one, it's at 33%, set the mix on this one at 50%. Now I will say the M104, if you raise that mix above 50%, you're going to get like your second, you know, note. So like you hit your note and then the delay kicks in. The actual first delay, which is the second note hit, is louder than the first, and I did not want that. So I had to, you know, dial this back to 50%. In the video where that guy's using his Kemper, he's like, yeah, my mix is like 80%, my feedback's at like 90% or something like that. And I could not recreate his sound. And I'll plan on putting, like if I'm putting on this on YouTube or whatever, I'll be sure to put a link to his video because you can go and actually listen to his song or his video. His settings were not working for me, so I was able to keep the feedback pretty high, but the mix I had to keep it at, you know, 50% or lower. So I've got the 3 delays, and one of those being a multi delay, but the third one here, I was able to get the mix. I put it about 37%. And then feedback also pretty high up here at, what is that, like 91%. So I had to stack multiple delays to get it to have the ambient, like, you know, the sound kind of, you know, it gets plugged and it carries through. And that's with the auto swell off. You know, so the auto swell I've played around with because I think it has a little bit more like a violin sound, you know, or whatever you want to call it. So I do like the auto swell on. I could see instances where you want it off, so, you know, whatever. This here, I'm still trying to dial this in because in the video with his Kemper, he's got like the delay has octaves in it on certain repeats, and I really dig that because I think it creates more of a sparkly sound. So I think he's also using octaves up and down. I feel like maybe this is a little bit strong, and I'm still trying to play with it. But it's there, you know. He uses that. I tried using it. I don't think it sounds great, but it sounds all right. The chorus, I think the chorus adds a lot, but it's subtle, right? So it's a subtle add a lot. But that's without chorus. We throw that in on it. I think it just sounds a little bit more sparkly and shimmery. So I like that being there. Something I was playing around with was like a time warp. And it's pretty subtle. Like, you may not even really be able to hear it, honestly. And I'm kind of like back and forth on that. It's super subtle. I've tried it a little bit higher, and it does sound good. So like, if we increase the feedback, what do I got it now? Like 8%. You know, if you increase it, you hear a little bit more swirling and stuff going on. I have played with it in different ways, and I don't know. It sounds kind of cool if you get some of the extra time warp stuff going on. But then here's where the big struggle was with Headrush. The reverbs are just not fantastic, and I had to stack them. So that's what I was doing. I found that this air reverb was really what did it for me, though. So I put that on ambient mode. We got the size up pretty high. Color, I played around with a lot, and this was a big one. I found, I think right now, it's real small, and there's like something over top of it that you can't see, but I can. Yeah, 1664 hertz. I had to play around with that a lot because if you go much lower, it doesn't sound right. If you go much higher, it doesn't sound right. So another thing I played around a lot with was the time. I found about 5 seconds to be the sweet spot. If you go to infinity, you get, I don't know, it's almost too much. I mean, it's a cool sound, and maybe like you could use it for something, but it goes on, and it almost becomes too much. But again, here's the stacking, just like I had to do with the delays. To get the sound I want, I really had to stack the reverb. So like without this 11 reverb, it just sounds kind of thin. So now the 11 reverb by itself, to me that sounds too thin, right? So stack them together. That's kind of the secret to working with the reverbs that we have now in our Headrush equipment, is just you're going to have to stack stuff. Now, I did also add a party verb just because I think it gives it a little bit more shimmer. So like, that's without it. We added in. It just gets a little bit more shimmer. And also, I think it sounds more controlled. Like without it, for some reason, I think it sounds less thick and controlled. So, you know, it is what it is. I added an ambiverb as well. I used to have an ambiverb on here, but I was hopeful, but it did not really add anything. And if anything, it kind of took away from the overall sound. So I just took it out. So, you know, got these 3 delays stacked. I will say I messed with the order of the reverbs and the delays. And if I had the delays first, I'd get too much bouncing. And again, that's not bad, but for my use, I was like, I really want it to be smooth. I don't want it to be like... So, reverbs, then delays. Of course, the party verb after that, I did think the party verb at the end sounded pretty good. One cool thing, I can maybe try to show you this. I might have changed the settings too much, so this may not work. But I actually kind of dug the multi-delay before the reverb I don't know if it's going to do it. We'll try it. I think that sounds pretty good too. So that's the one exception. The settings I had it on prior, and I don't even remember what they were on. I did get kind of some cool slapback because it has like the various delays, and so it kind of gave it some syncopation. And I thought that sounded cool, but again, it wasn't really like what I wanted for my purposes. So I decided to change it. And I kind of wish I would have at least saved a version like that. So who knows? Maybe I'll mess with it more. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I just think this has pretty close to the sound that I want. Of course, if you have some thoughts, let me know. I will tell you the biggest thing that I'm struggling with still is to get sort of like the note to almost sound like it's kind of like right. So like I've noticed in some of the other stuff, like the guy that I was referencing, it almost sounds like his guitar is doing that without him doing that. He's just plugging a triad, and you get almost this like, you know, I don't know how to say it, but you probably know what I'm saying. So whatever word I'm looking for, drop that in the comments and let me know what I'm trying to say. But it just has like this almost like it's being plucked kind of sound, and I dig that. I don't know how to recreate that with what we've got here. The other big thing that I wish I could do was having like the octaves only on certain delay repeats, because I think it just creates some more shimmer and it's an interesting sound. I tried the let's see if we can just throw it in here real quick. I tried the pitch delay right here, so I could not get this to do what I wanted to. So I'll play it and let you hear it. I guess it's cool, like it's all right, but I messed with it and I was like, it's still not doing what I want it to do. Like throw on tails. Adds maybe a little bit more shimmer, but again, if you go check out that video that I'm talking about, I just don't think it sounds like his. I think the Kemper does a really good job of making it sound fantastic. So that's the other thing that I wish I could do, and it's just not jiving for me. So if you have any tips or thoughts, maybe you've discovered something, let me know. But all in all, I've got my sound to be pretty close to what I want it to be. Still working on it, but if you have some thoughts, drop them into the comments, and maybe we can figure out how to make some awesome reverb sounds on our Headrush gear, despite not having the best foundation of reverbs. So that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.